Ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Hi, welcome to Bobby Cinema Theater. I'm Bobby Cinema, but you can call me BC. This is my third week of my webcast live at Bobby Cinema. We're introduced to new movies and DVDs that's out this week. I make my final grade in the movie out this week. Go to my website where you can read the plot and watch the movie trailer. The first movie out this week is Vantage Point, starring Dennis Quaid, Matthew Fox, Forrest Whitaker, and William Hurt, directed by Pete Travis, produced by Tina Landau and Ricardo Del Rio, and distributed by Sony Pictures. I've seen the trailer and read the plot. You know, this movie is compared to In the Line of Fire. I definitely recommend watching this film. This movie is a great suspense I've ever seen. Dennis Quaid, Matthew Fox, and Sigourney Weaver made an extraordinary performance in this film. My hat's off to them. I compare this movie to In the Line of Fire. Dennis Quaid is like the next Secret Service agent Frank Cornigan in this movie. I grade this movie a B-. The next movie out this week is Charlie Bartlett, starring Anton Yelchin and Robert Downey Jr., directed by John Pohl, produced by Jay Roach, and distributed by MGM. I've seen the trailer and read the plot. I don't recommend watching this film. It's the worst teen film in the world. This kid's like Ferris Bueller and acid. I don't recommend watching this film. Grade this movie a C-. My next movie out this week is Witless Protection, starring Larry the Cable Guy, written and directed by Charles Romance Carrier, and produced by G.P. Williams, distributed by Lionsgate. I've seen the trailer and read the plot. I don't recommend people watching this film. Larry the Cable Guy is a good comic and actor, but in this movie, I think he could do better in this film. I think Larry the Cable Guy should leave the action movies to Bruce Willis or Clint Eastwood than him. Grade this movie a D-. My next movie out this week is The Signal, starring A.J. Bowen, directed by David Bruckner, Dan Bush, and Jacob Gentry, produced by Hilton Garrett, distributed by P.O. Pop Films. I've seen the trailer and read the plot. I recommend watching this film. This movie is a great suspense and horror in this film, where people's mysterious transmission comes from cell phone, radio, and TV. It turns people into killers. I grade this movie a B-. That's all the movies out this week. The next movie out on DVD is American Gangster, starring Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe, directed and produced by Ridley Scott, and produced by Brian Grazer, and distributed by Universal Studios. I've seen the trailer, read the plot. I recommend watching this film. It's a true story and biography about the first black mob boss. This movie's like The Godfather, but different with a mafia family who are black. Denzel Washington made an extraordinary performance in this film, and be nominated for an Oscar for this film. My hat's off to him. I grade this movie an A-. The next movie out on DVD is Michael Clayton, starring George Clooney and Tom Wilkinson, written and directed by Tony Gilroy, produced by Sidney Pollack, and distributed by Warner Brothers. I've seen the trailer and read the plot. I recommend watching this movie on DVD. George Clooney made an extraordinary performance on Michael Clayton, his lawyer for the underdog. My hat's off to him. I recommend people watching this DVD. I grade this movie a B+. The next movie out on DVD this week is The Valley of Leah, starring Tommy Lee Jones, Susan Sarandon, and Charlize Theron. Written and directed by Paul Haggis, produced by Paul Hayward, and distributed by Warner Independent. I've seen the trailer and read the plot. I recommend watching this film. This movie is a great suspense. Tommy Lee Jones, Susan Sarandon, and Charlize Theron made an extraordinary performance in this film. My hat's off to them. For this movie a B. My next movie on DVD is Rendition, starring Reese Witherspoon, Meryl Streep, and Jake Gyllenhaal, a Gavin Hood film, produced by Steve Gollan and distributed by New Line Cinema. I've seen the trailer and read the plot. I recommend watching this film about a corrupt CIA agent visiting an Egyptian family man that CIA thinks is a terrorist who is bombing a foreign country. His wife works really hard to prove his innocence. Felt bad for the Egyptian family man for a corrupt CIA agent treat this guy like dirt, that he didn't do anything, and mistaken for somebody else. Reese Witherspoon and Jake Gyllenhaal made an extraordinary performance in this film. My hat's off to them. Grade this movie an A+. My next movie out on DVD is Margot at the Wedding, starring Nicole Kidman, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Jack Black. Directed by Noah Barch, produced by Scott Rudin, and distributed by Paramount Village. I've seen the trailer and read the plot. I recommend watching this movie. Jack Black and Jennifer Jason Leigh make an extraordinary performance in this film. Grade this movie a B+. My next movie out this week is that's all the time we have today. Come back next week where I introduce the new movies out this week and DVD. Don't forget to log into my website where you look into my new trailers, play my movies, and my puzzle. This is BC. See you next week, and now get the hell out of my theater.